Oh, well, hello. I see you there, scrolling. I was wondering if you could just go ahead and follow us, the Know Nothings podcast. We got banned off of here and we had to start over. So do that. Thank you. Banned. Hello, I'm Mike.
And I'm Ray.
And this is the Know Nothings podcast number 75.
Closing in on 100, 25 more to go. We took about, it's been 6 weeks since we did the last one.
I think so, and a lot has happened.
Oh, yeah.
Just so all kinds of stuff.
So much has happened, I can't even
go back and think about it.
I can't even really recall it all. So right now we don't have a government, right? They're shut down.
Yeah. But before we get to that, let's just talk about how I flushed my...
Put it on you.
I got it backwards now.
There you go, producer.
I flushed my reading glasses down the toilet a little bit ago.
So how do you manage that?
So I was trying to clean something off the ceiling, and I was jumping up in the air, swiping it, and my reading glasses were right here. And as I came down, they must have just been hanging on just perfect, and I went to throw the toilet paper in the toilet, and they fell exactly when I flushed, and I mean, they just went whoop right out.
I can't believe they went down that easy.
I can't either. They're just gone. But I'll just wait for the backup and then have to deal with it. That's what I'll do.
Maybe it'll be a while, or maybe they broke and they actually make it all the way down the pipe and get out of your life.
I don't think they broke.
Yeah,
I really don't think they broke. Am I two? And you're one? Or is it on you now?
It's on me.
Okay, I'm trying to get. It's so weird.
Now it's on you.
Okay, I need to put it on. I could run this to that TV up on the wall and I could see it too, but I just can't. I don't know. It's too much to do. Anyway, I thought that was a funny anecdote because I don't know anybody. Like you said earlier, you don't know anybody that's flushed their.
I've never heard of losing your glasses down to it. Like I said, I've dropped my phone, but I never flushed it. And I thought, when you told me you flushed your glasses, I'm thinking, how the hell did he flush them? But then you tell the story, it makes a little sense.
Where I'm jumping up in the air. It's kind of.
Well, I'm thinking like you didn't notice when you dropped them in the toilet not to flush and get them out.
No, it was like slam dunk. I come down, throw it. They're already in the air as I'm flushing, and I mean they just went down fast.
Well, all I can say is if that's the worst thing that happens to you today, it's not a bad life.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No. All right. Let's get into it. All right. So what's the biggest thing that has happened since... Oh, obviously it's Charlie Kirk.
Well, yeah, Charlie Kirk for sure. Man, that's a wild one. Like, I'm not...
Do you want to, jump into that, or do you want to just give a hot take on it and be done with it? Because everybody's talked the points. Everything's been talked about.
It's been beaten to death while we weren't, no pun intended, while we weren't doing any shows. But I am not buying the official narrative.
Me either.
Which I pretty much don't buy the official narrative on anything, so that's not unusual for me. But, yeah, I'm not buying the official narrative on Charlie Kirk. Nothing about it makes sense. Right. the no burial, the signs from his guys to the shooter, the no backstory, it's 2025. Someone in their 20s doesn't have a social media presence at all, or there's no footprint there, no digital footprint. It just doesn't make sense. And Charlie had just been offered a bunch of money by Israel.
Yeah.
You knew about that?
No.
So Israel had offered him $50 million just because he was starting to, he was a big Israel supporter, but he'd come out, kind of on the side of talking against Israel because people need to do that. There needs to be unified voices against this evil. This is a problem I'm having with Trump now, and I knew sometime it wouldn't take long in the administration for me to start having some issues, right? Now look, loving some of the stuff he's doing, but it feels like Netanyahu and Israel controls America. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Whatever they want to do is what gets done. Whatever wars they want to fight, that's what gets fought. Whoever gets killed, that's what happens. So Charlie Kirk was starting to recognize some of this on his own because he's an intelligent dude. And he started kind of speaking out against it. Like, hey, like, for whatever your politics are, they're for sure committing a genocide in the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
They're for sure doing that, right? Like you're killing babies, you're starving people out, you're not letting people, like, this is what's happening. There's no denying reality, regardless of politics. Anyway, they'd offered him $50 million to stop talking bad about Israel.
Really?
He refused it. Then they had offered to take him to Israel for re-education. Because, like every congressman goes to Israel and, like, kisses the wall.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah. They're all, every congressman and senator has, like, an Israel representative through AIPAC, right?
Oh, no. I don't know any of this. I don't know any of this. I don't look up this stuff. It's, like, not even a part of, like, my life.
So, so there's a lobbyist group called AIPAC. AIPAC is the American Israeli something. It's everything that AIPAC does is for the benefit of Israel. Every congressman and senator, no matter what side, they have an AIPAC rep. That AIPAC tells them what they need to say, tells them what stance they need to have, tells them what Israel wants to do, tell them what country in the Middle East we need to attack or kill, formulate whatever it is, everything for Israel, not for America. And they take everybody to Israel and they give you this tour of everything and they tell you how they're God's chosen people and how they're wonderful and how it's just the terrorists, which is just some shit that there are terrorists because they get tired of being attacked by Americans. And I'm going to get killed after saying all this. But they get I mean, really, like, you can't say this stuff out loud because, Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk's not saying, he wasn't being as aggressive, and I don't think I'm being aggressive, but they will. It'll probably for sure get censored as soon as you put this up that I'm saying this, even though it's 100% fact.
Really?
So they offered him $50 million, and then he said no. And
not on Rumble.
Yeah.
Maybe on Rumble.
Yes, it will.
Oh,
You have to
Rumble,
understand. Yeah. You have to understand that Israel controls everything and everyone inside of America. They can think about. They control all the media, all the social media, all the music, all the movies, all the politicians, all the power people, all the royal people, all the bankers.
So basically, everybody's brain. Everything you watch and everything you to get molded into and what you like
is what
comes from there.
Is what they want. And this isn't all Jews, so I want to be clear about that. But it's the Zionists in Israel. So anyway, Charlie refused the $50 million. He said, no thanks. I'm going to keep being a free thinker and I'm going to figure out what's happening here, because what's happening here is people's eyes are being opened. Like, America is absolutely controlled by Israel. Donald Trump is not looking any different than anyone else. Netanyahu is pulling the strings to him. That's why we support everything they do. We somehow just be like, oh yeah. And they've rolled this narrative out because they know that we're a Judeo-Christian country for the most part. So they've, since 1948, been pushing this narrative that somehow they're God's chosen people, so they get to do whatever the fuck they want, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, you can't go against Israel because that's anti-Semitic. Right. You can't say anything against Israel, no matter, even if we're starving children or murdering 4-year-olds in the street. Nothing to see here. It's because something they did.
Right.
Everything's
It's like a catch.
Most everything so all the wars that United States went to, that's the United States fighting what Israel wants on Israel's behalf without Israel having to lose anyone, shoot a bullet, send a soldier. We go to Iraq for Israel. We go to Syria for Israel. We go to Iran for Israel. All of these things that we do are orchestrated paid for by Israel. And then we give Israel all of our money, all of our taxpayer dollars, and then they give all of their citizens free health care, which we don't get, but all Israeli citizens get via the United States tax dollars, if you can believe that.
Oh, wow.
It's a wormhole, Mike, that's probably worth going down, but when the veil gets lifted on this, it's worse than anything else you can see. And they control literally everything. Every single politician, Republican, Democrat, Independent, they give them money, and then they say, this is what we need you to vote for. And it's called AIPAC. and it's strictly for Israel's interest. Americans' politicians are supported by a lobby that's not for the United States' best interest. It's for Israel's best interest. So anyway, when Charlie Kirk refused the $50 million, they called him up and said, hey, maybe you should come to Israel for re-education. Ooh. Re-education means propaganda.
Yeah.
Right? But we're going to take you over here and tell you how God loves us more, how we're the most special, even though the people of Israel believe that Jesus is rotten in hell in a pile of shit. And they believe that they're the chosen people, and we are, I think they call them goyim or something, but we're not, we're no different than cattle.
Really?
No different than cattle to them. They do not see us as human. That's why they don't have a problem with the genocide they're committing in the Gaza Strip. They have no issue with it because they don't see those people as people. They don't see us as people. Also, it's ethical per their beliefs to, how do I say this right? It's ethical to rip off and steal from us because we're not actual people. You know, they also believe that you can't charge a Jew interest. You can only charge us interest. But
why is that?
That's just because that's what's written in their holy book.
Oh.
That's what's in their what's the Jew, the Quran or the Torah? Yeah. So it's like, it's not all Jews, but it is Netanyahu and the Zionists over there in Israel, and it's real bad. And they wanted to get Charlie Kirk over for re-education, get him to kiss the wall, get him to, hey, you must understand now, and then you're gonna give him a bunch of money, and they wanted him to say, you must understand again how wonderful Israel is, and now you need to go on your show and remind everyone just how great Israel is, and that we're God's chosen people, and it's for us to do whatever we want because that's what God said.
Oh,
right?
Goodness.
Yeah. That's what America's been saying about Israel for 70 years.
Well, I knew we always backed Israel.
Yeah. Yes. This is why they've brainwashed us into believing. It's so nuts. So then he didn't go for his re-education, and then he was dead 3 days later. Oof. I don't know. Anything I'm saying is alleged. I'm not saying who did it or how they did it because I don't know that. All I do know is that the official narrative doesn't match up. What also I know is that the United States government would 100% cover up for Israel because that's what they do.
Yeah.
They're the ones. Netanyahu's the one that came in about 2003 to the United States Senate telling us Saddam and those guys in Iraq. It's because they want to control the entire Middle East. Once they got rid of Iraq, once they get rid of Iran, they'll be the only power in the Middle East. So they'll have all the control. So Netanyahu comes to Congress in 2002-03 telling them all how, Iraq's they got weapons of mass destruction. Old Saddam over there, he's just wanting to kill everyone. He's just a murderous dictator. We got to do something about it. Well, who the fuck is we? You know who the fuck we is? Us.
Yeah.
So
wait, hold on one second. So in 2003, he's like the president?
Yeah.
What's it? But that he's still they don't have terms like we do?
No.
And so he's just president forever until he dies?
He has been for a long. Well, I guess they have elections, but I don't know how that works or what the I don't know enough about their election system to speak on it, but he was in charge then, came before our Congress telling us about all these terrible terrorists, all these weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist, by the way, right? They don't exist.
Yeah, we didn't.
And who would have sold them to him when they did exist? That was us. And who told them to destroy them? That was us. And what did Iraq do? They did destroy them. And where were all the weapons? They were all gone. So what did we do? Go to the desert and spend 9 months sifting through a desert trying to find every piece. And we found 800 serial numbers that matched up all the weapons that we had sold them. But out of all that, they couldn't find 1 or 2 serial numbers because Iraq's hey, y'all told us to get rid of it. We took it to the desert and blew it up, right? You with me? Mm-hmm. So America says get rid of it after Netanyahu gives his speech. They take it to the desert, blow it all up. America shows up hey, we want to inspect that you got rid of all this. Where is it? What do you mean, where is it? You told us to get rid of it. It's gone. Yeah, we want to see that it's gone. Well, we blew it up. Where'd you blow it up? This desert. We send all these soldiers out. They're literally sifting through sand, looking for little pieces, and for months, and they found every single serial number. And then Saddam is see, I told you we blew it all up. And they're we're not finding one of those serial numbers. He's I don't know. It's blown up. It's blown up here somewhere in the fucking desert. They're like, it's not good enough, buddy. And then we invaded Iraq on at the behest of Netanyahu. And that's what we've done for every single country we went and invaded over there was Netanyahu pulling the strings, telling us that's what we needed to do. And all it is us fighting his war. That's what he's doing right now with Iran.
Man, we came hard right out of the gate with this.
Yeah.
We came so hard out of the gate.
Yeah, well, I mean, you brought up Charlie.
Oh God,
you brought up Charlie Kirk.
I did. Well, we had to bring it up.
It's a whole lot of onion to unpeel, right?
Yeah, too much for me.
I mean, you see, where was his? My son went to his funeral or to his. It was really a political rally. Is what it turned into.
He went to that in the stadium?
Yeah, he went to that in the stadium. Yeah, he drove. Check this out. So this will lighten up the podcast a little bit. So
right. I don't know how.
So he goes to Arizona. He's like, I'm going. I was like, it's like, cool, man, that's awesome. It'll be a great experience, And I was like, going with anybody? He's like, nah, my brother wouldn't go with me, and none of my friends would go, so I'm just gonna fly out there. Okay. So he's 24, so he gets, or 23. He'll be 24 in December. Is that right? I think so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
How old is my son?
Yeah, he's 23. So he rents a car, but you have to be 25 or they charge you $75. So he shows up, and Dawson's like, loves everybody, just super outgoing, never meets a stranger, makes friends easy, that type of thing. So he's in line at the rental car agency. They're like, oh, it's going to be $75 more. He's like, oh, shit. He's like, because he's already paid for flights and Airbnbs and everything in the event. He's like, well, I have cash. I can pay you cash, but my credit card's maxed out. They're like, oh, we have to have it on credit card. You have to pay it on credit card. He's like, well, I don't have a credit card, but I have a debit card and I have cash and I can pay for it. No, we can't do that. You just can't do that.
They don't do it on a debit card?
Nope. It's got to be a credit card. So anyway, there's this nice Russian lady in line behind. She was also there for the Charlie Kirk event. So she gets to talking to him while they're in line at the rental car place. And she's like, oh, no. She's like, well, baby, she's like, you just can come. You just ride with me.
Oh my gosh.
You just come to my hotel.
What?
Stay with me. This is at like 11:30 at night.
Oh my God.
So Dawson's just like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm like, they're gonna harvest your organs.
Yeah, right.
So, which she didn't.
You can come stay with me and my friend at hotel.
Yeah, that's it.
And stay in my room on the couch.
There was no friend. It was just her.
Oh,
it's just.
I didn't mean to say friend. No friend.
Yeah,
there's no friend meeting us there.
So she drives him to the hotel. He stays in the hotel with this strange Russian woman. Gets up the next morning. She takes him to brunch. They have a nice brunch, and then she drives him to the event. Then after the event, she drives him 45 miles out of the way to his Airbnb. Then the next day, she picks him up from the Airbnb and takes him to the airport. So he's good at making friends.
Oh my God!
So he's calling he sends us a text about this after midnight. I'm sleeping.
You're like, what?
So my wife wakes me up and is like, Dawson's staying in the hotel in Arizona with some strange Russian woman he just met at the rental car place. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm texting him like, what are you doing? Like,
what's her name?
Who is this? And she's like, oh no. She's like, I know your mom would probably worry if she found out about this. She's like, I'll send your mom a picture. So she texted a picture of her driver's license to me and Adrian. But anyway, she turned out to be great.
How old was she?
It's like 42.
Was she hot?
I didn't even you know what? I didn't even look at that.
You can talk all about Charlie Kirk and Netanyahu, but you don't know if she's hot or not. No,
I don't know. It didn't jump off the page at me that she was hot because I guess I was. So I guess I would say she was like an average middle-aged woman, right? Like whatever. It is what it is. How many 42-year-olds are hot? Like not more on the internet maybe than in real life, but I mean, our women. Besides our women, what most
mine's very hot.
Yes.
Very hot.
They're. I'm just saying, it didn't jump off the page. I don't know, but the point was, it's just strange. There's a strange woman.
So when's the wedding?
Oh, I don't know. So the next day, he's like, oh my God, he's texting us. He's like, this is crazy out here because they had to wait in line for hours to get in. He's like, people are passing out left and right. They're having to crowd surf out all these injured people. I was like, man, you better hydrate and be safe. He's like, don't worry about it. Becky's a nurse.
Oh my gosh. This lady's like an angel. There's an angel sent from above.
Yeah, she Yeah, she was definitely like an angel. She got Dawson a place to stay. She got him drove around the city, got him to the event, got him to brunch and lunch and dinner, got him back to his Airbnb. So yeah, so Becky, if you're watching this, thank you so much for being a stand-up person. But
That's amazing. That is really amazing.
so the point of that whole offshoot of a story was, where was his actual funeral where they took the body? I don't know. I've not seen. It's not been a thing.
Oh.
Where's his body?
I
The
don't know.
whole event seemed like a political rally. It was
I caught pieces of it. I didn't really.
it was bizarre to
really
me.
I didn't really. Well, if you have fireworks, I mean, they had fireworks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It felt really weird. So, but okay. Also, so when he shot, what's up with the guy?
Give me 1 second. I gotta run out here for real quick.
Okay.
So if you wanna, I can cut this part out.
No, just keep it going. It's fine. Where you got? You going for a jog or?
Yeah, I gotta run to the bathroom.
Oh, just gonna go. Just
I've
go.
had too many ultra zeros.
Too many ultra zeros. Keeping that slim girlish figure. Yeah. All the stuff doesn't add up, and we need some more answers. And I think it just the way it played out. And I thought Charlie Kirk was a great dude. I love the way that he debated. I love that he let people speak that disagreed with him, and he tried to engage with them civilly. He let them say what they needed to say, even when they were hostile. He didn't get hostile back. Maybe once or twice in his whole career, talking for tens of thousands of hours, did he get riled up. But for the most part, man, he just let his enemies say whatever they wanted to say, be as rude and as ruthless as they wanted to, and he'd let them speak. But nothing happened until he spoke out. It started to speak out against Israel. He wasn't like awake enough to see it for what it really is yet. He was starting to see, like, wait, some of this doesn't make sense, or wait, like, you're for sure committing genocide. Like, there's like 100%. That's what you're doing. He wasn't like he hadn't crossed over to where he was like where I am, where I'm like, no, this is just absolute nefarious 50, 60 years of Israel bullshit. He was just starting to because he had been an Israel apologist his whole career. So think about it. Nothing goes down until he starts speaking out.
Yeah, I just flushed my watch down the toilet. No,
it's like, damn, your watch and your glasses. I think you're going to have to be banned from the bathroom.
Is there a disease where you like to flush things down the toilet?
I'm sure. I mean, there's a disease where people are marrying their car and having affairs with guitars and everything else in the world.
Well, okay, so here's what I think, like Charlie Kirk. I think all of like what you said makes sense. I haven't like delved into any of that. I've never even seen 5 minutes of Charlie Kirk talking.
Oh wow!
And then I like when I saw the South Park where they were like Cartman was like Charlie Kirk,
where he was the master debater.
I didn't even know, like when I watched the master debater.
Yeah,
I didn't even know like that was
which Charlie
Kirk.
loved, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't know that was even Charlie Kirk. If you said, "Hey, who's Cartman being?" and I'd be like, "Oh, that guy I've seen on the internet." I didn't even know who he was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I saw, then of course my phone turned into a Charlie Kirk phone, and it didn't matter what I was looking at. You're gonna get it, and I just got it. So I started watching. I was like, okay, this guy's like,
super level-headed,
speaking out, and I guess they want you to think that because he was saying all that, somebody shot him, but I don't buy that either, because I'm the original conspiracy theorist from way back, and I don't think anything we see is real. I think there's always a different story to anything they show us on television.
I was boldly saying that we didn't land on the moon in 2004.
Yeah.
2004. I don't toot my own horn here, but and now essentially everyone recognizes we didn't land on the moon.
And do you think they're actually going to send these people to the moon that they're saying they're going to? Hell no. I don't think they are.
I'm so far down that's like such base level for me that I can't take anyone seriously who believes we went to the moon. Like when people, they're like, oh, if they act like it's ridiculous that we think, I'm like, Well, you actually believe we
Yeah.
went? I
Wait,
can't.
you think we went to the moon?
That's fucking crazy.
Nothing like all you got to do is look at all the stuff and be like, that didn't happen.
Well, now there's like with there's an AI tool. Have you seen all this this revelation?
No.
So now AI has broken it down. It's like, hey, AI, can you break down this footage and tell us if it's real or computer generated? And AI, like 100 different models have come back and said 100% computer generated.
Yeah, right.
So
well, if you've seen the one like in like I don't know what I think it's Us or Russia or whatever where the dude's just hanging from like some things that they put on TV and it's got like the world spinning underneath him or something.
Well,
now,
now, to be fair, when that aired in 1966 or 67, that was Sputnik. So that was, and they said this is a simulation.
They did say
this is a simulation of what it would look like. Okay,
Okay.
that's there. But the dune buggy on the moon, the bouncing around on the moon, the getting to the moon, the launching off the moon with nothing. There's no fire. There's no rocket. There's no propulsion.
the camera
zooming up.
zooms up.
Every bit of the technology being lost. I mean, look, I would sit here, I would feel comfortable talking about the moon landing to a NASA scientist. Like, I don't think they could.
Well, what I would do to that NASA scientist is I would just go quickly onto TikTok and I'd be like, why are we green screening everything from the ISS to where people are going around a corner and disappearing? Why are they dropping things with no gravity? Why is
there
this
a hook in their back?
Why are their clothes like this while they're talking? Oh, hey, how's it going? And then they go, oh, do a flip, and they always do that flip, and then you go to like a concert footage of somebody on those two wires doing the same friggin' flip. I mean, none of that makes any sense.
Well,
It's all fake.
Have you seen that podcast where they got an astrophysicist on? He came on to like debunk these idiots, right? Like he showed up, the intention like, I'm the brilliant one, but he came into a podcast where the people were actually smart and had done their research. And they're like, okay, cool. And he's like, you be civil, I'll be civil. They were being very civil. And it was like an hour and a half long. I watched the whole thing. This astrophysicist, by the end of this podcast, I mean,
Turned him.
At first,
Did it turn him?
It turned him completely. Yeah. At first, he's going, well, I mean, look, camera technology then, but it's a lot of different things it could be, and be like, okay, hold on, let's walk through this one, and they'd put a video up, and he'd be like, yeah, I mean, he's like, well, clearly it looks fake, but like, they're like, well, where is it? Where's the technology? Well, they had to destroy it. They had to destroy it? Are you sure? And they're just kind of walked him through, and by the end of it, he's like, fuck, we never went to the moon. This is an astrophysicist, like a doctorate of physics.
Yeah.
And
there's just so much footage of all the BS of things that just can't happen.
It's
the way the guy gets up, he falls down in the suit, and the way he gets up is he's being yanked by a cord back up, like backwards, and stands up. Nobody gets up like that, especially if you're wearing that big ass suit on the moon. They're like, oh, the gravity's 1/10 gravity. It's like bullshit. Nobody stands up like that.
All right, here's one I hadn't even thought about. Till I watched the podcast. They actually brought up I knew most of it. There were probably 5 or 6 points that I hadn't even thought about. They're like, okay, explain this. They're like, if the moon's this big, right? When you're on Earth, it's 283,000 miles away. The physicist is like, that's correct. That's correct. And they're like, okay. So when I'm standing on the moon, the Earth is going to be this big. But why is there no image of the Earth except the one image from the moon, and it's this big? Yeah. That wouldn't be possible based on these calculations. He's like, well, hold on. He gets his pen out and he's like, it should be big. It definitely would appear
bigger.
It would appear. They're like, yeah, it would be so big it would take up the whole lens. Is that correct? He's like, yeah. It'd be 10 times that. Whatever it is, he was doing his formula. He's like, yeah, he goes, yeah, that's a weird one. Let me work something out here. He pulls out a notepad and he's like, yeah, he's like, I mean, I understand. This is like 20 minutes in. Like, okay, and they're just moving line item by line. And of course, he doesn't know any of this, right? Because if you're educated in their system, which Israel's probably,
if you learn their stuff,
you learn their stuff, right? But you don't learn. And this guy, he's like, I'm doing this. We're doing this. He goes, this is science, right? Would you agree? And the astrophysicist is like, yeah, what you're doing is science. Like we're debating through it. We're going to talk through it. You're showing, we're having legitimate questions that we're trying to figure out, and I'm going to give you the real answer. This is how it starts. I'm going to tell you why with anything you don't know why it is. Well, he couldn't answer a shitting thing, Mike. Nothing. Now, do you know about the Challenger? I'm sure you do, right?
The Challenger blowing up, and then the people are still alive.
All of them.
Yeah, there's pictures. I've seen a few pictures where they just side by side them, and they even have the same names.
They do have the same name,
and they're like, this guy is teaching at a university, and he looks exactly the same, and it's the same name. They didn't even blow up. But when I was in the second grade, I saw that thing blow up on TV
in school.
I'm watching it on TV.
Now think about this. Why did they round up every child in America, put them in a classroom to watch this launch, and then the explosion?
There was a teacher. So all school systems were watching the first teacher go into space.
That's the narrative.
Yeah, that's the narrative. Yeah. Well, all I'm saying is the narrative.
But this is going to give NASA unlimited sympathy, unlimited national support. Whatever they need, however much money they need, $58 million a day, I think, is what we give NASA.
Oh my gosh,
$58 million a day. It might be $48 million if anybody fact checks me on that. But you'll fact check me and go, well, that is a shitload of money. If I'm missing, if it's 48, if it's 48 or 58, to do essentially nothing, because nothing they say they're doing is happening. There's no space station. There's no International Space Station out there.
Yeah, I wonder what that thing is when my phone goes off and I run outside and I look and I see it going across. It says it's the International Space Station. I wonder what that is, like a satellite or something.
Yeah. Well, the other thing they were asking the astrophysicists, they were like, "Hey, so satellites?" He's like, "Yes." They're like, they would be, above the Earth. They go, "How far is to the top of the Earth?" And he, however far to space, then however far it was.
Well, the International Space Station's like 250 miles up
above the atmosphere.
But no, 250 miles from the ground up.
Okay, so
it's not actually in space.
So stay with me. He's like, okay. He's like, so it's 250 miles up to the space station. Where he goes, so the satellites are going around up there, and he's like, yeah, that's correct. He's like, so you couldn't see those, right? And he goes, well, no, of course you can't see a satellite. He goes, well, what are all those things that everyone keeps telling us are Starlink satellites orbiting the Earth that we keep seeing? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, what? He's like, you don't know. He's like, all the Starlink satellites they say we can see, but you're admitting we couldn't see. He's like, no, we don't see those. He goes, so they pull it. These things where there's these lines, and everybody goes, that's just Starlink.
Yeah.
He goes, if it's just Starlink, how are we seeing Starlink if you're telling me there's no possible way you could see a satellite? We would both agree from 100 miles away from my eye, I'm not going to be able to see a satellite smaller than a car. He's like, if you put a pickup truck 200 miles in the air, could you see it? He's like, of course not. He's like, how are we seeing these satellites they say we're seeing that are orbiting the Earth? Which that was a great question. I'd never thought about that. And the physicist was like, so then he shows him like 1,000 examples of like, here they are.
Starlink in a line.
Every time somebody sees it and says, what is this? Everyone goes, it's just Starlink, dummy.
Dumbass.
Like, he goes, but how are we seeing satellites? He's like, that's another really good question. He's like, I don't know. I don't have the answer for that one. He didn't have but he literally had the answer for nothing.
We're definitely being hoodwinked on all kinds of stuff in space.
Or
whatever.
Not just space, man. Like, not entire swaths of history are completely rewritten.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing, some things are real, but there is so much more proof that a lot of things are bullshit. Like, like flat out bullshit. Now, people go, well, what's the reason that they would fake the moon landing? Well, obviously, we were in the deal with the
Cold War.
With the Cold War with Russia. Russia was beating us at everything, right?
Space race.
Well, think about this. This is another point they brought up to the physicists. They said, okay. They said, check it out now. They said, so Russia had the first astronaut in space, right? He's like, that's correct. Russia had the first guy orbiting. He's like, that's correct. Russia launched the first one that orbited the Earth. He's like, that's correct. He's like, so Russia had all these things ahead of us. They were nowhere in the stratosphere of getting to the moon. All of a sudden, we skip steps 1 through 10, pass them up, and we go to the moon right in the middle of it when it's looking like they're winning the space race.
Right.
How do you explain that? How do we skip all the other stuff? We didn't do any of that. We let them do all that stuff. We're like, well, we'll go on the fucking moon. And the next thing you know, we're on the moon.
Yeah. Do you think they thought the American people are getting pretty scared because Russia's going to take over space and we're nowhere, so we need to giddy up and like make up a lie or make something
the
happen.
thought process was if they keep seeing this, all these advancements, all these things happening, the American citizens are going to start thinking communism good, democracy, capitalism bad. Because look, if y'all are telling me communism is terrible and they're doing all these advancements that we can't do, y'all are acting like they're deprived and not smart and you just can't function under the way they are. But they're doing all these advancements. If they keep advancing and we can't do anything, and the fuel, there's not enough fuel to get to the moon. Everyone admits now.
I saw a thing about rocket fuel, like going to the moon and how many rockets it actually would take, and it was a lot.
It's 8.
Yeah.
8 like full cylinders of fuel, and it would have to launch up, refuel,
come back,
shoot again, and then it continues on its space journey, and then you got to launch another one, refuel.
That's what the guy said. He said, I was watching this thing, and he was like, and he said 8, and then he goes, okay, now we got to come home. Oh, 16.
Yeah.
He said, oh.
And
what?
The launch of, I mean, look, it's just ridiculous. Then you look into the Challenger, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, then you got NASA people going, well, you just don't understand how rockets work. Bro.
Okay, tell me.
Yeah,
right?
Like, oh well, it's classified.
This is where I am on all this stuff, right? If you're like, the Israel stuff, you're like, well, geopolitics is a little more complicated than that. Okay, well, I'm not 7. Explain it to me like I am 7, though.
Yeah.
If it did, explain why Netanyahu came here, lied to the Americans about weapons of mass destruction, had us take over and attack Iraq for him, and tell me why that didn't happen. Tell me why that's not happening now with Iran, and tell me why it didn't happen with Syria. Tell me why it didn't happen with all their neighbors. I'll believe you if you can formulate a convincing argument. If you can answer any of these questions about the moon landing without just acting like, oh, you'd have to be a fool to not believe we went to the moon. No, you'd have to be a fool to believe anything that you tell us.
Right.
Because it's clearly, like, nobody thought that everybody would have this much access to information. Right? So I'll admit, like, an 03...
But you don't even, like, if you want to really know what's going on, like, in China or, like, how they actually, what's going on there, what they're doing, or what's going on in Russia, you really can't find out unless you go fly there and boots on the ground, walk around. Because now we got all this internet, and we're all so connected and whatever, but you can't go on the internet and go look at China and see what's happening. They don't let you.
Yeah.
Everything's blocked.
Everything's blocked. The best was they asked this astrophysicist, hey, do you know why of all the space missions, all these things we've done, why has no one ever turned around and taken a picture of the Earth? Doesn't it seem like there'd be like, I don't know, 100,000 images of that?
Even when every one of the astronauts is like, when I looked back at the Earth, I got this feeling of, we're all in it together. Well, then where's the picture for us to look at to get that feeling?
We're so, I just got this overwhelming feeling about how small I am and how small our problems are.
Yeah.
And that, when you're looking at the Earth through that vantage point, motherfucker, that's how we see the world. That's how normal, decent people see the world anyway, right? Like, you're just saying what sounds good because that's how good people think anyway.
Right.
I'm insignificant. The world's so much bigger than me. We're all in this together. We need to stop having war. Like, that's what reasonable people think anyway. You're just saying what everyone thinks because then people make people.
Oh wow, yeah.
It'll make people emotional and be like,
I feel that way.
He's speaking for me. I bet I would feel like that if I was in space looking at the moon. Well, yeah, because you feel like that probably anyway. So it's just some feel good bullshit to say.
First of all, they probably never were in space. I'm about 100% on that. But
correct.
The other thing is, do you think that when like Katy Perry and all them blasted up in that cap, they weren't really in that? They wouldn't do that in a heartbeat. Do you think Elon Musk would get in his big rocket and go anywhere in that thing right now? Hell no, they're not getting in those things. I saw a picture of the fake hand, like the fake hand when they went up, it was like Katy Perry and
Yeah,
who
that
else?
was ridiculous.
They're-
That was
they-
ridiculous.
They had a shot, and there was like a mannequin hand in the window. And then when they came back down, there was like I guess a live feed of it, and they opened the door from
And Bezos
from the
Bezos
inside and
shuts
slammed it
it
closed.
because anybody smart would know you're not supposed to.
You
You
can't-
can't open a
you can't.
pressurized door from the inside, right?
So
But
it's
that
like,
was-
I don't even think they went up in that.
Elon hasn't gone to space. The Bezos hasn't gone to space. NASA hasn't gone to the moon. They might have been to space, whatever that means. That just may mean high in the atmosphere
Maybe
for all we.
200 miles up.
Yeah, maybe it's 200 miles up and you're still in Earth. Because we don't know.
250 miles up is what they say the International Space Station is. That's halfway to Atlanta, Georgia from here. And so if you were to take a map and you were to draw halfway, which is a little bit past Meridian, Mississippi, then take that and put it up like this, that's
it.
how high it is up off the ground.
That's it.
not very high.
Yeah, but to the moon, it's 283,000 miles, which is the circumference of Earth times 10.
Yeah.
So lay the Earth out flat, like open it up if it's a globe, and times 10, that's how far it is to the moon. Get fucked, bro. Like,
And if it, like the Van Allen belts and all that stuff, if you get outside of those, the radiation and all that kind of stuff that's going on.
yeah, I don't
just fry
look. I
everything.
mean,
And I'm not a. This is just what they tell us. You know.
I
Like,
just want to know the truth. I know that you're lying to me. Just tell me why and what. It's obviously a control mechanism. Why is it so important that they like force feed every single person this narrative from birth? Basically, it's you go to Disney World, it's like mocked up space, right? You can go to space camp, which you've been to.
Yeah.
It's like mock
I believe it was called Space Academy.
Space Academy.
Yeah,
Sorry, doctor.
Space Academy.
Sorry, doctor. But it and me, like, I used to be a big space guy.
Yeah.
I don't.
I have like I used to live out in the country and I spend every night looking at the moon and the stars with a telescope. And
How-
now I live in town and I don't.
How come none of the stars move? Why can't somebody who's smarter than me just answer that?
Move. Like, what do you mean move?
If we're going 17,000 miles an
and
hour,
we're doing this and
we're spinning 1,000 miles an hour. We're going 17,000 around the sun, and for millennial, the stars have never moved. Are you telling me they're all moving in exact synchronization with us? Doesn't that seem bizarre at best and impossible? Most likely impossible. That the whole thing just boggles the mind. Like, and they want to act like it's such a stupid thing that I'm bringing up that it doesn't even warrant a response. And the reason it doesn't warrant a response is because they do not have a good response. There's no logical answer for it. This is, how are you spinning 17,000 miles an hour around the sun, 1,000 miles an hour on your axis, and the stars that are millions of light years away, which look local, how are they not going anywhere? It's not, I just haven't heard a good answer to any of that. Like, I'm love to hear a good answer. There's definitely not been one even close to good answer on the moon. Why is all the technology destroyed? Why the biggest achievement in human history, and no one is gonna, the biggest achievement in human history, Mike, and no one is gonna keep that information.
right.
You also want me to believe that a group of women, and it just happened to be during women's lib time, during 1969 is like the height of women's lib and the feminism movement, and you want me to believe that all the technology was derived through 5 women doing math problems on notebooks with no computer help, handwriting mathematical equations. These women did these mathematical equations. These women that no one really knew.
Right.
Were so smart that they did 20,000 pages of mathematical formula to get us
You're very sexist. This is very sexist.
That's how you shut it down, right?
That's right.
You call somebody an anti-Semite, so you're not allowed to talk about Israel.
Right.
You're not allowed to ask questions like that.
Or if you say, "Oh, women did this," then you're like, "Oh, you're sexist."
So why do you think they came out in 1969 when they're pushing the feminist movement? Which I'll get on another soapbox here. The reason they're pushing the feminist movement in 1969 is because they realized, hey guys, half our taxpayers are at home.
Right.
We've got to convince them.
More money.
We've got to convince them that they're just as capable as men and they should be working more.
That's right.
We need more chattel. This is 100% it.
100%.
You think they give a flying fuck
Right.
about women being empowered? They don't give a shit.
They want the money.
It's a manipulation tactic to get women out of the house where the state can raise the children, which the state do raise the children because they have them from cradle to grave. They can indoctrinate them with anything they want. Mom's out of the house, dad's out of the house, both of them too stressed out to even focus on their kids, so the state has their whole attention, and you double your tax revenue and you steal all that and you send it back to Israel.
Yep.
Am I crazy?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So I used to think, look, before access to this much information, and I just question everything naturally, right? Like I have trouble with like authority, and I just have trouble with people telling, or this is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But I always just wondered about stuff. Like I remember being in junior high thinking, why aren't we on the moon right now? It's like 1988, right? We went there in 1969. Like, why aren't there houses built on the moon? Right. And at this time, of course, I'm fully believed that we went to the moon in 1988 or 1990 or 92. Or not. It wasn't until about 03, 04 when I started being like, maybe not. By 07, I was definitely not. But I was still like, yeah, definitely we didn't go to the moon. But everything else they're telling us about space is true. I'm not there anymore.
Well, did you? I know I did as I got older in high school and stuff. I said, why does the world operate like this? Why does it operate like this? I'm like, why are we operating like this? Because when you're young, you have like hopes and dreams and all these things, and then the real world comes crashing down on you. Like, I got to do what? I got to get a job. I got to pay for what? Oh, I got to pay the light bill. Okay. Can I pay somebody else? Cause this is pretty expensive. Oh no, I can only pay one company where I live for the light bill. Okay. What is like, why is it like this?
We would never agree.
This is crazy.
You would never agree to put yourself in this sort of slave prison.
No.
Nobody would agree to this. And the people that don't have to abide by it, they just walk around laughing at us.
Right.
It has never been left and right. It's never been black and white. That's what they want. They want the minions fighting.
They want us fighting so we don't come after them.
If the minions are fighting, you never know what's really going on.
Right.
You never open your eyes or remove the veil or say, like, I am in this system that I did not help create, nor do I approve of. I'm forced into this system from birth.
Right.
Right? Like, I felt the same. Oh, yeah. That was like, very early on. Very early on. Like as a child.
So when the internet comes out and all this information, what do? Flood it with a bunch of information that isn't real. And you just don't know what's real. And it's like, who's going to do all the research just to figure out one thing that probably isn't even real on top of that when you got to go to work tomorrow morning?
Well, everybody
it's just there's so much information we're getting right now. And like the younger people that have grown up now with cell phones their entire lives, not like us, and the internet their entire lives, not like us, where we didn't have it and we got a little bit of our own free thinking going on.
It was just free thinking back then, right?
Now it's like it's nuts because they just, like you said, indoctrinating them. And now it's like you stick an iPad in a kid's hand and he or she gets all of this stuff, and now it's just taken over everything. Every thought process is told to them what to think. Oh, you feel this way? Well, this is the way you react to that. Oh, you like this way? Well, this is the way you react. Now you don't like that person because they think differently.
Well, think about any time you ever brought this up. Like, I mean, I brought it up my whole life, but I'm like I took a trip with my parents a few months ago, and I was, we got to talking about a month ago probably, and it was very recently, and I'm like, I was like, how does, we we got on this subject and I'm like, how do more people not see this as crazy, right? Like you're paying for water, you're paying for dirt, you're paying for all you're doing is getting the privilege to go work to just have enough. Everybody except for 1 or 2%, people that make over 500,000, maybe they don't really own anything either. They're paying property taxes, but how did we agree that we would pay for water? We would pay for energy. I think there was free energy. We've had the technology for free energy, I think, hundreds, if not thousands of years ago.
Right.
There's pictures from like the 1800s of like the skyline lit up in the World's Fair when it was like they were demoing electricity, basically.
Right.
We got bamboozled into all this. And so, but the only thing anybody ever said, and I'm like, how am I the only one that thinks this is crazy? And then every time I'm talking to someone, it's going to be like, well, that's just the way it is. Why the fuck is that the only answer anybody ever has? Right. Well, that's the way it is. Well, you want to go live in Russia? Like, I'm not talking about going to live in Russia. Like,
it's the same over there.
Open your eyes
and
understand. Like, until you stand up, you're stuck in this system. You are cattle.
Right.
You have no control. You have no freedom. You are 100% controlled, manipulated from cradle to grave. Right. They tell you everything that's great and that you should do, yet none of them do it.
Right.
Oh, you should work harder.
Yeah.
That's
go to church.
But I can't
get some faith.
Go.
Treat people right because we're not treating you right.
We're not going to treat
but you treat everyone else right.
There's enough resources, and if you're like, well, look, there's enough resources and things for all of these problems to go away if we wanted them to. If just each billionaire focused on their community, you don't have to save the world. Just each one of those 1,000, if you just said, you know what? My community is going to be fucking incredible.
Right.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be in the future. It's going to be, if you just did that, it's fixed. Right. And in pre-indoctrination, I feel like it probably happened when Rome fell, eventually the citizens get enough bread and circuses and they stand up. You understand you're being fed bread and circuses, so your mind doesn't have time to focus. And if you do focus, you've got everybody so brainwashed around you
that if you speak out, they attack. Attack.
I tell you, my dad's exact words, he was like, you say some things that make some sense. He's like, he's like, man, if you say this out loud to people will be like, man, Ray's an all right guy, but the motherfucker's crazy. I'm like, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
You sound, in a world full of lies, a person speaking truth, it sounds crazy. Right. In a world full of manipulation, the person saying, hey, we're being manipulated, sounds crazy. Mm-hmm. And I said, and maybe you are a little bit crazy if you've been 20 or 30, 40 years of watching this. Nobody says anything about it. Nobody checks it. You feel like you're on an island. It's maddening.
Yeah.
Because do you feel, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You feel like, hey, everybody you talk to is an NPC.
Right.
Everybody. And then, but you can, there's only pockets of like the internet. There's really only pockets of the internet where you feel like, okay, I'm not crazy. There's 1,000 other people that see, understand. And it's not even about like conspiratorial things. It's just about
how people should be treated,
like
or
clear,
like normal things that you would do.
What are they
for your neighbor?
Like, what are they gonna do now? Now that jobs are being replaced by AI, and I think we talked about this a few episodes. But do you think they have a fucking plan?
No.
Do you think we're gonna be 25% unemployment by 2030?
The plan is to see what happens. And then
we'll
react to it when it's too late. When people are like standing on street. The families will be on the street. There'll be no money for them. We're going to have to figure something out.
Because
maybe that is the plan. And then they go, hey, everybody, we've got all these tiny houses for you to live in this part of town.
And you can only live here. And you can only go to this store.
Oh, you don't have... Okay, you lost your job to AI. We have these little tiny houses you can live in. And then, boom, you're there. And they can control you.
And and it's going to be called 15-minute cities. Yeah. And they're going to have complete control of these 15-minute cities. But... everybody's not going to get to a 15-minute city. All the jobs are we went from a manufacturing economy to a service-related economy, which was bad because you've lost these manufacturing jobs, you've replaced them with mostly service jobs, which 90% of those jobs pay under $45,000, right? Mm-hmm. And now we've replaced that with a gig economy. Now we don't even have a service economy. That's gone. The hospitality economy, that's gone. Now they tried to sell us a gig economy. Like, oh no, you can DoorDash and Uber
get a
Eats.
side gig, side hustle.
So they got everybody doing these side gigs where the companies don't have to pay them as employees. Yep. You don't have to offer the same kind of benefits. Certainly, there's no pension. Pensions have been gone since NAFTA, since '92 when Clinton got '94, whenever it was. When Clinton sent everything overseas and we called it free trade.
Yeah.
Ain't fucking free trade. Free for who?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing free for us. And then if you try to talk about this on an intellectual level or on a level at all, people are like, what are you, some kind of socialist? And like, you're just missing the whole point.
Right.
It's not about socialism or capitalism or like, well, late stage capitalism ain't it. Socialism ain't it either. Cool. I fully concede that point. I understand that. This ain't it either. Right. Capitalism worked when it worked for more than half the people. It was wonderful, but now we're in late stage capitalism where it's just not good, except for the very top. There's only so much money. It's all been funneled to the same people. There's only so many bills to go around, right?
Right.
And if you've taken, we used to have, the rest of the country used to have, 65% of the wealth. Now they have like 12% of the wealth or some crazy number. And it's just next year it's going to be worse. The year after it's going to be worse because we went from manufacturing to service economy to now a gig economy. And now the gig economies, man, you could go drive Uber Eats 15 hours a day. You're going to be lucky if you make $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
Right? So now now you're going to get 50 or 60 hours of labor out of your slaves for free. You're just paying, it's like on a commission-based deal. There's no real employee contract there, employee-employer contract. There is no one that is looking out for American citizens.
No.
That's my take on that. And look, and oftentimes, when I was having that conversation with mom and dad, I'm like, it's not even about me. Like, I'm fine. I'm not fine, but like, I'm way better than most.
We got jobs and we're
got jobs, got a house, got a new truck. Like, I'm for what we look at in America. Like, a lot of people would say, like, you have the American dream. I got a house, I got some land, I got a truck. It's not about me. This is like the short-sightedness of this. Like, I was like, first of all, everybody always thinks it has to be about you if you're having a conversation. Like, why do we lack the ability to see the world through everyone's viewpoint or that things could be different, right? So it's not always about, and then the second thing is every time you bring something up, no matter who you're talking to, the first thing people talk about is how much is that? What is that? Everything's about money when it doesn't have to be. Right. You have all the resources you need, but we have to turn everything into like, how does this pay out? What does this look like? Well, what are we talking about here, right?
So the problem is overpopulation. Do you think there's a Great Reset coming? Do you think that there's an extermination on the way? I think that they figure out how to blame something that's going to get rid of. There's too many people for that.
I think people that see that the veil's been lifted a little bit and they kind of say, I mean, this is fucking bullshit, right? Like, I think people that think that have created the Great Reset as a way to reassure themselves and make themselves feel.
But it's not a reassurance. Wouldn't it be like an eradication of people?
No,
it would like an alien invasion that just wipes out big cities.
It would be, but the Great Reset
to get rid of.
But the Great Reset comes. It's like they believe the Great Reset's gonna be like, hey, everybody's gonna have more than enough, and it's gonna be a resource-based economy where because we have the resources, everything's taken care of, and you can focus on things that fulfill you. And it's also like the vision that's sold with AI and UBI. Which
that sounds like a pipe dream to me.
It sounds like a pipe dream, right? Like, of course it's coming that AI is going to take all the jobs.
Right.
Of course it's coming that humans aren't going to have money. Of course it's going to come that the politicians will eventually have to react and figure out what we do for people to live, or whether that's UBI or that just looks like, look, everybody gets a $3,000 credit to take care of your basic needs, or whatever that looks like. I don't know. Somebody will think of something. But there's nowhere in there where it's like
AI,
where people are going to take.
We'll think of something.
Why would they care about us now? Right? It used to be. So what was it like? It was lords and peasants, right? And then you went to a slave system. You had feudalism, right? But it's always operated from these are the smart, beautiful people that control everything and know everything. And you, minions, do what we say. And look, if you're lucky, we'll have a couple slaves fighting in the Coliseum later. You can go cheer for that. Now it's, hey, you can go go to the football game or whatever. You can watch bread and circuses.
We got Taylor Swift kicking off a new tour.
But
you're going to pay for it.
You go to feudalism, then you go to slavery, then you go to what we're in now. It's all the exact same thing with a different name. All the elites get together and say, "Hey, look, they're not going for this slavery thing anymore, right?" Like, hey guys, the slavery thing is definitely the population's starting to not feel this, right?
Right.
Same thing they did with feudalism. The lords got together and said, "Hey, the peasants are not okay with a couple loaves of bread, and we got to do something else for them." Slave system, same way. Hey, this is not working anymore. Boom. So, what if we create what we've created now, where we can still keep our slaves? Of course, they kept them as like sharecroppers. The actual slaves were kept as sharecroppers, and then everybody else just gets sucked into the system. Mm-hmm. You're not you have no control at all. It's the perception of control.
Of choice.
It's the perception of choice.
And they don't tell you what choice to make. So if you make bad choices, it even gets just worse for you. It gets even worse for you. So like say debt will give you a bunch of money and you go buy whatever you want. And now you're circling the bowl trying to pay for all the debt. That's one trap.
Now you can't. Oh, it's a huge trap.
That's the biggest one probably when it comes to money.
Well, so you can get somebody, man, if you think about it, if you get somebody in college right when they graduate high school at 18, if you get them 50, 60,000 in debt, boom, right out the gate, right?
Right.
But then you've convinced them that the only happy people are home buyers, right? You got to buy a home. So now you got them in a 400 and something $1,000. So now they're 450,000 in debt before they've started their life.
Right.
Trying to start their life. They got their first engineering job. I'm making $92,000. I'm gonna go buy me a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Boom, they go buy the house. They still got the $50,000 student loan lingering. They got the house coming, and then you're like, well, your wife's pregnant. You're gonna have to get her an Escalade or a Jeep Grand Cherokee or something that's $90,000 because that's just what people do, right? And they just roll up there and they just finance your ass, and then now you got a $400,000 house. $100,000 SUV, $50,000 in education. Well, shit, now you're like, I can't pay for all this with my $92,000 I thought was a lot of money. Get some credit cards.
Just
get some credit cards. So
just balance it out.
So then you get credit cards, and then your kids come along. You don't have the money to take care of the kids. That's going to be $400,000 or $500,000. So it doesn't even matter what you're making because you're $900,000, $800,000 in debt from all this other shit they told you to get. They told you was the American dream. It's not a fucking dream. It is. I mean, once you're awake, you want to be awake from the dream because it's a nightmare, right? Like and look, and I'm guilty as everyone, right? I mean, first thing I did was buy a house, buy a couple cars, boom, start a family. Well, once you're in that rat hole, it's over. They got you for life. Because at minimum, you're locked in for 30 years. You're never paying off all this credit card debt. You're gonna always keep getting a new car. Even if you're smart and prudent, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna get a car. I'm gonna drive this old beater, and you try to do it right, you're gonna get trapped. And then once you have a family, you have to work for those 30 or 40 years. You have to. And then you're chugging along, and there's a new phone every year. There's a new TV. There's a new, you need this. Oh, and I'll just buy, I'm already in debt. I'll just buy this TV. And you just get pummeled with advertising for shit you don't need. And everybody buys. And then at some point you sit around and take stock up. You're like, why don't I have any money? Oh, because it's all going back to them, the creators.
And then you have an emergency, and you have to come out of pocket for something like plumbing, insurance premium.
Which like 93% of the world.
All your insurance goes up every year on your house and your cars and all that. It all starts going up into
health insurance.
It's like my Allstate with my truck. I was like, every year it goes up a little bit, and I got to call them and be like, I'm going to pay cash for this for 6 months. And then it goes down a little bit, but not as much as it was before. And I said, what is the end game on this? I said, the end game is you keep raising it until I can't afford it. That's the end game. And then what do? I go to another provider. That way I don't stick with you the whole time. You get all the money you need from me, and I go to somebody else that'll be a little bit cheaper, and I'll be like, oh, thank God it's cheaper.
Even though it's...
And then even though it's more than when I started with Allstate, and my truck's getting older, but my insurance is getting more expensive, even though I've never had any tickets or anything like that. It just gets more expensive. The truck gets older. It gets more miles on it. It's worth less, and I'm paying more for insurance. It's nuts. And then they say, oh, because in your area there's this many accidents.
Oh, it's too many uninsured motorists.
Well, guess what? That's not me. In my area doesn't matter to me. And it's like, I don't even go anywhere. I work from home. I sit here. My truck's parked out there. And
Drive
it just goes
20
up
miles a week,
constantly.
probably.
Yeah. If that.
That's
So
a
it's like
it's a
nuts. So
huge
that's
expense.
that is a huge pitfall of America with insurance and all that stuff. Just constantly.
Insurance and taxes. You're going to work at the end of your life. You're going to have worked 25 to 32 years to just cover insurance and taxes.
No.
The other 25 to 30 would be what you did to cover interest payments.
That is a trap. Huge trap that they put everybody in.
I'm telling you,
unbelievable. See, that's wrong.
I'm so far down the wormhole on this that I just don't have the guts, but I don't want to participate in any of it at all.
Either. Well, look what I do.
Stop.
You talk about stuff and I don't even know about it because I don't involve myself in any of it. I didn't know anything about Charlie Kirk. I knew when he got shot, obviously, and then all that.
You didn't really know who he was.
I didn't really know who he was.
Which
I've
is
watched
wild.
maybe 5 minutes of his stuff.
Yeah.
I really put myself in a bubble, and I don't want. I am so tired of social media that I don't even whenever I do go on Facebook and I scroll and I see people posting things and stuff, it just aggravates. I just don't want to hear what people have to say about anything.
Well, Facebook
it
to me
aggravates.
Facebook to me is that's like the boomer. That's for the boomers. Instagram's for the attention seekers. TikTok's for the information seekers.
Yeah.
In the weirdos, right? But yeah, I'm honest. If given a choice to start over, if I could go back in time, I'm pretty convinced that I would do none of it. I'm not doing any of it for y'all.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't want your health insurance. Health insurance makes me so mad that I literally just sometimes, and it sounds crazy and people think I'm like, fuck it. I just let me die.
Yeah, that's the way I am.
Just let me die.
Let me die. That's the way I am. I don't want to live my life and then I'm going to die.
I'm like, I don't want to pay.
It's inevitable.
I don't want to pay $25,000 when I have to finally use the services that I never used my whole life, and I have insurance that I'm paying $12,000 a year for.
Yep.
And then when I go in there, I get a bill that's going to bankrupt me. I'm just not fucking interested.
Right.
I'm not interested. I don't want to pay an entire paycheck for a place to sleep. Right. I don't want to do it. You can call me crazy. You can say you just don't understand. You can tell me this is just the way it is. Fuck all the way off.
I'm the same way.
It makes me.
It makes me very hot on the face. My face gets hot.
Yeah,
when I don't
want to give Israel $1 of my taxes. I don't want to give any foreign country $1 of taxes. I want to give America just enough taxes to keep roads and borders secure and national sovereignty. That's it. I don't want to pay 40 or 50% of my income for a home. What do you do in your home? You show up after you work to sleep there. You work out of yours so you get some use. Well, they shouldn't cost.
Here's the thing.
They shouldn't cost what they cost.
Well, no, the thing is like, why do we have to get a loan to buy anything? Why do we have to get a loan to buy a car? Cars should be cheap enough that we could just pay for it.
Yeah.
We could just save a little bit and buy a car. Why are they so expensive that we got to go get a loan? And then there's interest on that loan.
Well, money
and then
should
all this stuff, it's crazy.
Money should be more valuable. So do you, a lot of people...
Let me say this before that you were talking about taxes. I think we should be able to say, this is how much taxes I pay. And this would make me feel a little better.
This is where I want it to go?
This is where I want 50% of... Because obviously they're going to need it to put into things we don't know about.
That's brilliant.
I want to take 50% of my taxes and I want to put it towards roads. Or I want to put it towards border, military.
School, whatever.
Police, school. If your kids are in school, then it should go towards school. if I don't have any kids in school, so mine should go towards other things like roads and all that stuff.
But it should
And
be
then
way less. You should-
50% of what I'm paying you, I should be able to decide. I should be able to decide 100%. Then we really see what people care about.
Yeah.
But we don't. We don't see what people care about
don't-
because they lie to us about what people care about.
They
100%.
They tell us the narrative. They lead us through it.
And then let's say this: who is they? Let's just get that out there.
Israel.
Israel. Okay. Okay.
They're Israel. Israel is the bank.
Yeah.
Israel is the media. Israel is the United States government. Israel is the military. Israel is social media. Israel is ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN, CNBC. What else? Israel is the insurance company. Israel is everybody that loans money or somehow connected to Israel. And this is indisputable.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to get you on the next flight to Israel for some training.
For some re-education.
Re-education. So next time, we'll do that.
Are we already done?
Yeah, we're done.
Oh, that was too fast. All
That
right.
was fast. That
I'll
went
see you
quick.
guys. I'll see you guys next time. Later.
All right. Peace.